Canon has recently released the R5 Mark II. Is this the camera you need to improve your photography? Let's have a cup of coffee and talk it over. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this new camera. I am not a review channel. I don't have one. I am going to recommend for a full technical review of the features of this camera that you might want to check out Tony Northrup's review video on this camera. I think he did a good job with it. I'll link it in the comments. But as you know, on this channel, I want to talk about what these kinds of things like new cameras can do for your photography. So I want to take this video in that direction. The very first thing, in my opinion, that you need to know is this is not a first camera. If you're looking for a first camera, I would say this is too much. This is a lot of camera for me. I'm a professional for many, many years. You really want to think about who would be interested in this camera as a purchase. If you already own an R5, you're really going to have to look hard to decide if you need to do this upgrade. The R5 is a fantastic camera. Has a lot of issues, has a lot of flaws. You know the issues out there. But most people who own it that I know are very happy with it and don't complain about it at all. Reviewers are often the ones who complain about camera gear. I'm going to be honest. Working pros, we know how to get the job done, and cameras today are just damn good. Let's be honest. We're splitting hairs when we're finding faults with new camera gear. Also, something you want to think about is that this camera is now much more of a hybrid camera, like going to the R5 Cinema line than it was before, because a lot of the new features are video related. So again, you have to take that into account when you're looking at this camera. How important are video functions to you? Okay, the R5 Mark II is significantly more expensive than an R5, which is still available new. And what I want to talk about is what's been done to it to help you decide if it's worth that amount of money over an R5, which you can still get new. So what's improved? Well, first, the sensor has improved. What has not grown is the megapixel count, which I'm very good with. If you follow this channel, you know that I have been against cramming too many more megapixels on the same size sensors for some years. I am very glad that Canon has held it to 45 megapixels. That's not to say they haven't improved the sensor. From what I understand, most of the improvements in the sensor, however, will help you with frame rate and autofocus, which is good. I mean, especially if you are using your camera for grabbing fast-moving subjects, I think all of these improvements will move the camera more towards your needs in that department. Will you notice an image quality difference? I don't know. I haven't really seen anyone say that the image quality noticeably jumped ahead for over $1,000 more for the body. I also suspect that most of the people who are talking about the camera are talking about how many new features the camera has rather than will your photography just look any better, right? I mean, let's get down to it. Will your photography look any better? I'm sure it will a little bit. $1,000 worth? Again, if you're a videographer or you really want this camera for a hybrid use, that's where I think it's going to shine from what I'm hearing. The autofocus has improved. It does more, and it has a feature. Go back to that other video for a more detailed feature review, but it does pre-capture, which means it's always kind of rolling in the background some kind of way, so you never miss a shot. It's a great concept, it's a good thing, but it's always filling your card. It's always burning battery a little bit. You got to think about how important is something like that to you. Autofocus sophistication is a wonderful thing, but is it just getting really complicated, or is it getting more intuitive? As always with these kinds of things, nothing that I can say or any other reviewer can tell you can substitute for you grabbing the camera and trying it yourself, because only you know if something is complicated or intuitive. There is one feature that I'm going to say right now I'm absolutely not interested in, and apparently this camera can upscale an image in camera. I have no idea why that is important to anyone. If I want an image upscaled, I want to do that myself. I don't need a camera to do that. And in fact, it's using generative AI to do it. All that's doing is tying my camera up. That's me, completely subjective opinion. I have no need of my camera doing generative AI. Okay, so I think you can see from everything I've said so far that this camera was not conceived and designed with the still photographer as its primary focus. That's totally fine. They are having to deal with market pressures, and market pressures are pushing them into the hybrid market where video is an almost co-equal player with still photography. Let's be honest. Do we need a whole lot more for still photography? And I mean that within technical considerations, that the technology probably doesn't have within its grasp an ability to revolutionize itself at this point in time. It just doesn't. I mean, if they could do an revolutionary new type of camera sensor, they would. The designers are doing what they can. So if you are primarily still photography based, I don't know that this camera is going to get you all that excited. And more importantly, I don't know that this camera is going to make your photography look all that much better. Your understanding of lighting can improve your photography far more than buying a Mark II over an R5. In my opinion, I don't see how the look of your photography would change that much. If you are a sports shooter, however, and you need faster frame rates, faster autofocus, or you want 8K video, yeah, this camera can give you that, right? That's what it was designed to do. My channel is focused on still photography image quality, and that still is best improved by learning, understanding, and improving lighting. I think Canon has come out with a fantastic camera. I would love to get my hands on one, but it's not going to change my life if I do. I hope this has been helpful to you. I would love to hear if you have any comments or feedback on what I've had to say. Until the next video, cheers.